Hey everybody, how you all doing? And we're gonna look at one here that's gonna be quite interesting, you know what I mean? We hear of gun control in America, you know, and all of that. We're gonna watch something called gun control in Canada. Let's see what how we gonna see the differences stack up and take, you know what I mean? Because it's a big issue here. So welcome to Mr. Giant Reacts. Take. I'm Mr. Giant, and I ain't gonna babble. Let's YouTube and simmer and see what I go on with the gun control here in Canada.
You equate criminals with gun culture, that somehow gun culture is a subset of criminal activity. It's not. We are the best Canadians, hands down. When's the last time you had a background check?
Gun culture. Events south of the border have had a lot of people talking about it recently. And tonight you'll meet an Ontario gun owner on a mission to educate Canadians about this country's gun culture, one he believes is under threat from those who simply don't understand firearms or their owners. And he wants to bring Canada's culture out of the shadows. The National's Mick Purdon has never fired a gun, so we sent him off to the shooting range.
Everybody got the bullets? You may pick up a rifle. Prove that rifle to be safe. You may take that rifle to the line. Friday evening at the East Elgin Sportsman Club near London, Ontario. I've been invited here to witness something that in Canada usually stays hidden. The culture of guns. John Evers runs things here. He admits not everyone in his club wanted us around. But he believes if gun owners stay hidden, their culture, as he puts it, won't survive.
I have the right to be here. I have the right to have my guns. My culture's at stake. They want me gone.
The they who want him gone, Evers tells me, is pretty much everyone in Canada who doesn't own a gun. And so one of the things he does is try to convert people. So you're letting me shoot your favorite gun?
Correct. This is my pride and joy.
For Evers, you're either with him or you're against him. You love guns or they're a four-letter word. But here's the thing. If we're honest with ourselves, that's how most of us think. With guns, there's no middle ground. I gotta admit, sitting here in front of all these handguns, it makes me slightly uneasy. Like I've never actually touched a gun before.
Correct. But the why, and again we're gonna.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I tell you the why. I'm on seeing what guns do. First hand. Granted, it was like in conflict, but I still see what it does. Guns make me uneasy. A cop walk by me with a gun on his waist, and it makes me uneasy. I see civilians walking around here like it's the Wild West with guns on the waist, and it makes me uneasy. It just does. I see what they can do. I've seen what they can do. And I've seen what humans can do when they possess them. That's an important thing to say there.
Because you have no experience. You've put it in
Well, they're
your
also
statement.
designed to...
But I have had experience, and I'm uneasy around them. I didn't even let my son have toy guns in the house. I was around them.
shoot living things.
They're designed to know. They're designed to shoot. Full stop.
Yeah. There it is, right off the bat, the age-old guns don't kill people, people kill people argument. But I've come here to try to get beyond that. Explain gun culture. This is my culture.
When you say gun culture, you don't think of me. You think of the gangbangers in Jane and Finch. You think of criminals.
No. When I think of gun culture, I think of any human being with a gun. Period. Not just bad guys, not good guys. Most people who get shot in homes are shot accidentally, not by bad guys. Most people who get murdered in their homes are murdered by spouses and stuff like that, not by break-ins.
You equate criminals with gun culture, that somehow gun culture is a subset of criminal activity. It's not. We are the best Canadians, hands down. When's the last time?
You see, he's making that equation that guns are simply associated with criminals. But what if a 5-year-old pick up a gun and shoot another 5-year-old? Is that criminal? No. The problem is humans with guns. I'm not saying I'm against guns. I'm just saying people shouldn't be walking around with guns in their waist like they are here. Not the way people are. Not the way people get angry and you better respect me and all that stuff. No, you shouldn't be walking around with no gun. Somebody could walk by and bump you and you're in a bad mood and plow, 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 you start shooting. So the problem is the human being and with the gun, for me. I know some people are going to get on here and say, it's my God-given right. God didn't create guns. So it's your God-given right.
Last time you had a background check. Mine was this morning. Before that, yesterday. Before that, the day before. I get a background check every day. When was your last one? How do I trust you? We're not the criminals. You could be.
Anybody could be.
I get it. Evers feels persecuted, his whole culture discriminated against. And his point about the background checks? Well, it is true every day an RCMP computer runs the names of gun owners to see if they've committed a crime.
So what's in here? That's our handguns.
They're all in there?
They're all in there.
In here?
Range here, yep.
When you're treated like that, Evers tells me, the shooting range becomes a sanctuary.
Or you could have your shooting ranges. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Here. My son's been here since he was 5 years old. And my daughter was 8.
Marissa is now 22 and at university. And today, Dad is going to help her with her technique before she heads off to class.
Are you ready? Stand by. You start up firm, and then you have way too much knee. Way too much knee. So it's like that, okay? It's passing on that passion. And spending quality time with your daughter in a one-on-one at a sport you enjoy and she enjoys.
But for Marissa, it's not that simple. She tells me she pays a price for her sport.
I have guns, I don't have friends.
What do you mean you have guns but you don't have friends?
People do not want to be my friend because I shoot guns. I am a firearms enthusiast. And people, especially now that I've gone to university, want nothing to do with me because they're afraid of what I do.
I'm going to tell you a story. I had a friend of mine, right, that used to come up here and we used to hang out all the time. And all of a sudden he brought a couple of guys with him. And then he started telling me that one of his friends, you know, he's really nice, but don't get him angry, man, because he's always strapped. And I'm like, of course I'm nervous, you know what I mean? Get out here with that gun. If you have a bad temper, why are you walking around with a bloody gun? Now, he was no criminal, but he had a temper. That's the thing about people carrying guns. Most of them have tempers anyway. And I mean carrying them. I'm not talking about people going to the shooting range and then leaving their guns at home. I'm talking about those that walk around, because when you hear them talk, everybody I know that's walking around with a gun on their waist that I've spoke to here, it's like, yeah, let anybody mess with me. I'm a blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's what they say.
If I have to postpone telling somebody that I shoot in order to get them to see that I'm a good person, I'll postpone telling them I shoot because I need them to know I'm a good person, that I'm not going to hurt them, that I'm not going to do anything that's crazy or insane.
Are you ready? Stand by. Beat.
It turns out Marissa's dad had no idea she felt that way.
It's like porpoise but it's like she's kept a secret from me that she was hurting and not telling me that she was hurting. And she was hurting because of the reality that I brought her up in. If she were brought up in any other family, if she were a child of soccer parents or hockey parents, she would not be feeling like that, would she? So there's some guilt in my mind. It also invigorates me to change that reality.
Both father and daughter tell me that every time there is gun violence in Canada or the United States, they brace themselves.
When Sandy Hook occurred, obviously I was sad and distraught over the tragedy itself. But for me, there's a secondary aspect to it. Because you just wait, because here it comes. They're coming after me now. Because of that, they'll come after me. On a personal level, I am often hated. Gun owners are hated and derided because they have guns.
Well, what are these to you? Still, with Evers' guns spread out in front of me, it's hard not to remember Adam Lanza. The Sandy Hook elementary school shooter got his weapons from his mother, who was a gun collector.
Adam Lanza was mentally ill, and that is why that occurred. The mental illness is why that occurred, not the gun control.
But if there are no guns, then he couldn't have
If
fired.
there are no guns, how do you create that? The genie's out of the bottle.
And even here in Canada, it might...
And I'm not advocating no guns. I just don't think people should be walking around with it in their waist like I see them walking around with it here. You can have all the guns you want. That's fine with me. Except those like guns that shoot off out of 1,000 rounds in a second or whatever. You know what I mean? There's no reason for you to have that. There's none. Those things were created to mow down people, period. But, and I'm speaking from what I've seen. Not because I'm just against guns, you know what I'm saying? I'm not against guns. I say it's okay for somebody to have a gun to protect themselves in their house. When you start walking around with guns on your waist outside of your house, then you become an issue. Because you're not trained. Like, okay, people like, if there was a mass shooter, I'd do this, you know what I mean? Number one, you're not trained to take on a mass shooter. Number two, when the cops come, they wouldn't know who is the mass shooter and who is the person trying to get the mass shooter, so you're putting yourself in danger. And usually, if you're shooting at the mass shooter, that means you're in the group of innocent people, which means they could get mowed down too. And I know this doesn't have to do, I don't know how it is in Canada as far as the gun violence per se. I'm speaking from this perspective where people are talking about, if I was in that movie theater, man, I'd be doing, oh, what are you? You're not trained to do that. There's people running everywhere. What are you going to do? Shoot everybody until you get to the bloody a shooter? How you want to know if it's a cop or the shooter, especially if, like, the cop comes in and he's like in plain clothes. He's a detective. How are you going to know the difference?
Might surprise you just how much. While nobody knows exactly how many guns there are in the country, the RCMP puts the total somewhere around 8 million. That ranks us 12th in the world. As Canadians, we think guns are purely an American obsession. Not true. Exhibit A. Evers' Gun Club is just one of hundreds in the country, and this place is growing. In the last 10 years, membership has more than tripled to 700 people.
And let's be real. Most of the people who are it's growing because people are scared. It's not because it's a sport. It's because people are scared. That's why gun ownership is rising. You know, the politicians have us so scared of each other, we think we have to have guns to protect ourselves. That's why it's rising. That's my opinion. That is my opinion.
Why? In part by going after the kids. Friday night is pizza and target shooting. Why don't you play hockey?
Oh, this is better.
How?
Because you get to shoot things.
Darlene Allen has 2 little girls in the gun club. Her point is that shooting is actually safer than other sports. But she also knows that most people don't get it.
Always the adrenaline, the violence, the anger that there comes with shooting when you see it in a movie or something. But this is the type of shooting we're talking about, right? We're not talking about taking it out on somebody, taking out your anger. We're talking about letting your anger go and trying to do something and hit a target and be precise.
But it's not just in movies where guns kill people. It's in real life. Just down the road from here in Toronto, 4 kids have been shot and killed since the new year. But for gun lovers, it seems sometimes the connections are hard to see. For example, the gun used to kill the children at Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut, the AR-15, is the same gun Evers uses in his competitions. So Adam Lanza used a gun like that, is that right?
Correct.
To shoot the kids.
Correct.
Does that change this gun when you hold it at all? To know that it...
No. A drunk driver last week killed someone with a Honda Accord. Do Honda Accord drivers feel different because he used a Honda Accord? Of course not. It's a Honda Accord. This is an AR-15.
Should I even tackle that logic? You need a car to get from one place to the other. You need vehicles to bring food to and from places. Granted, in some places you need a gun to get there to do that, but that's not what's happening here. That's like that doesn't make any sense. You need, like, if I wasn't able to get onto the bus and go the long ways that I go to work, I couldn't get to work unless I walk, and then I'd be spending more time awake than getting any kind of rest. You can't hop into a gun and go to work. You can hop into a gun and race off to the emergency room when you need to. That don't make any sense to me, at least.
It's the user. It's the Adam Lanzas you need to worry about, not the John Evers. For me, I have fond memories of this. I'll be using this in Pennsylvania for a 3-man, 3-gun competition in April. And I'm going to have fun. Remember, relax. You want to be relaxed.
And there it is, the big disconnect for so many people. Enjoying guns.
Figure it out.
How does that work? Well, I'm about to find out. You really are trying to convert me.
Absolutely. I'm trying to educate you. If education's conversion, that's great. Look at that. That is fairly impressive, actually. I'd say of the people I've taught to shoot, you would be in the top 10. I'd hoped you were worse.
We move on to a more powerful gun. One you've probably heard of, the .357 Magnum. Gun lovers will tell you this is one that gets people hooked.
Yep, there you go. Bit more? And that's actually a medium load for that. How was that?
No, I mean it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's tiring on the arms.
Exactly. It's a heavy
You
gun.
feel like you can't hear the smell. It's like surge of violent power.
It's
Violent power.
There's no violence.
Oh, it's violent power.
You need more.
After an hour of shooting, I'd had enough. I didn't convert. But I'm just one of many that Evers has worked on. He tells me no matter where he is, he's, well, preaching. Even the other day when he stopped to help a stranger change a tire on the side of the highway.
She offered to pay me money. And again, that's not right. I'm doing it because I'm a nice guy. So all I did was turn and say, no money required. Just know that a handgun owner was nice to you today. I wanted to know that I'm a nice guy and gun owners are nice people, and move on from there.
You feel that downtrodden.
Yes. I feel that victimized, I guess is where it comes from. That I'll fight back in any little way I can. And it comes back to one mind at a time. If that's what it takes, I'll do it. I'll go door to door across Canada if need be to say, hi, I'm John, I'm a gun owner, I'm a nice guy. Give me a chance.
I'm not sure that's going to work in a country so distrustful of guns. But I give Evers credit for stepping out of the shadows. Nick Purden, CBC News, London, Ontario.
Okay, that was really interesting. You know what I mean? There's gun culture everywhere. I know there's people in my island that love guns, you know. I'm not saying take people's guns away. Restrictions are absolutely needed. Anybody could go off the deep end at any time. And also you have to take into political and sociological factors into it too, you know what I mean? Who is being demonized while having the guns? Is it one ethnicity? Is it one nationality? Is one, you know what I'm saying? An African with a gun is a savage. Other cultures, they're revolutionaries, they're rebels, you know. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to take all of that into consideration there. Have your gun. I know if I'm going to visit somebody and they say they love guns, I ain't going to the house. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. Especially not where I am. I might do it at home because I know they ain't going to whip out that gun and shoot me at any point if I disagree with them. I'm not saying that's the way it is here. I just don't trust it. Not where I am. I'm sorry. I don't trust anybody who's got guns in the house here. The way people talk and the way they get angry and the way they curse and they fight and they carry on. You know what I mean? People who play with guns, you know, take the gun out. You see, man, this is it, man. You know, no, go away from me with that vibe. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that if there's you're being oppressed and you pick up the gun and you take care of business, that's a whole different story there. But not when you go into a grocery store, not when you're walking into a toy store, you know, not when you're walking into, you know, a store that sells baby items. And people do that here. Anyway, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this video with me. Comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on all of this vibe and thing. You know what I mean? Tell me what you think. If you like it, drop a like on it. And if you have subscribed, and if you are going to subscribe, make sure and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm putting out videos, all right? You know what I mean? You know, this stuff is kind of interesting here, man, you know? So I hope you guys are doing all right out there, taking care of each other. Cool runnings.